What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back here for another episode of the Premier League's Perspective, where we're going to take a look at the weekend's games just played. We put our Tottenham spin on it, and we also have our scores, our predicted scores, which is 5 points for a correct scoreline, 1 point for a correct result. The scores at the moment are 92-89 to me, with not many games left to place him.
Games, well, as 5 games left for each team. There's a lot of points to play for.
A lot of points left to play for, but not a lot of games left to play.
Yeah, but there's only 3 points.
Mm-hmm.
One game can easily close the gap.
One game can trump the gap. But let's get into it. Let's start off with Arsenal against Everton at the Emirates. It finished 1-0 to Everton. I went 2-1 to Everton. You went 1-1. So I gain a point there, which is 93-89. I didn't get to see much of the game, but from what I saw, I thought Arsenal were the better side, but Leno with an absolutely horror mistake. Horror mistake.
I mean, it was an absolute howler from Leno, conceding from Richarlison. But it's also a point to note that Arsenal probably should have had a penalty, another really dodgy VAR decision, ruling it out for offside. And I thought it was another one of those ones where VAR shouldn't even be looking at that, and that must be very frustrating. Having said that, I don't think it was a penalty anyway. I think Arsenal were lucky to get the penalty, but that was a dodgy call. But Arsenal were unlucky to lose it. But
they also had a tight VAR call with the offside as well, didn't they?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
that's the same thing. The penalty got overruled because of the offside.
Oh, I see.
And that was very unlucky from that sense. But Everton got another good away win. Their good away form continues, and Arsenal in 11th, dropping down to 10th place at the moment.
Something like that, yeah.
Exactly. So shows where Arsenal at the moment. I think they were unlucky, but how many times can you be unlucky in a season?
True. Do you reckon that if Arsenal were not in the Europa League, still in the Europa League, that Arteta would be under a lot more pressure?
Yeah, I reckon he'd be sacked already.
I was speaking to a few Arsenal fans. They think that if Arteta has a hard start to the season next year, if he starts poorly, then he will go quite early on in the season next year.
10th, mate. They're behind Leeds.
Yeah. And, 2 years in a row now. They finished 8th last season, was it?
Yeah.
10th. They're 10th this season. I mean,
declining.
Arteta's got to improve things dramatically to save his job, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. All
right, let's move on. Well, actually, the talking point of that day was actually the Arsenal protest.
True.
And it's not every day, or I don't know if I've ever given Arsenal fans credit before, but you got to give it to them. Got to hand it to them this time, don't you?
Yeah, look, they turned up in their numbers, and they definitely sent a message to the board, and I think the board definitely got their message after that, and even talks of a takeover were in the pipeline a few days later, but we'll see when that pans out. But fair play, they got thousands there, and they definitely was a big protest, big turnout for them.
And are we ready to cancel our Spotify premiums if it does go through?
Getting ready, Apple Music all the way.
All right, let's move on to Liverpool against Newcastle. It finished 1-1 with a last-minute equaliser from Joe Willock. I went 2-0 to Liverpool. You went 1-0 to Liverpool, so both getting no points there. But Joe Willock, what's going on with him?
It was a crazy last few minutes, and obviously that last-minute goal stopping me from getting all 5 points.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I thought it was kind of win-win because 1-0 was a great result for us in terms of the top 4 race, and Liverpool missed a host of chances. But when you only keep 1 goal in it, it's always likely that, or there's always a chance you're leaving the opposition open, and that's what happened. Newcastle grew in influence in the game. In the last minute, obviously they actually had a goal ruled out through handball. Callum Wilson's shot rebounding back off his arm here, and then he put in the rebound and VAR ruled it out, which I thought was a harsh decision. But luckily enough, a couple minutes later, still in stoppage time, they did get an equaliser. Joe Willock, as you say, has come on now a few times against us, against West Ham, and now against Liverpool to get a late goal and get points for Newcastle, and that's another great result for them. And they're getting towards safety.
Yeah, if not, albeit, I mean, they're 9 points above the drop now.
I think more might even.
Maybe
they
even
are
more.
9 points.
Yeah, 9 points above the drop. So you got to say credit to them, because by the time we played them, I mean, they were odds on for relegation, weren't they?
They were looking great for them.
Yeah, it looked like they were going down. And I said in the preview to that game that I've been impressed with Joe Willock in arriving late in the box most games. He's having shots on target most games, and now he seems to be converting those into goals. So I know he's an Arsenal boy, but credit to him because he's doing well at the moment.
And credit to Steve Bruce turning it around. Fair play. They're two wins and 2 draws in their last 4 games, and looks like heading towards safety.
All right, West Ham against Chelsea finished 1-0 to Chelsea. Both of us going 1-1, so no points there. But yeah, I think surprising that it finished 1-0 to Chelsea, or you just I think it's a standard scoreline, wasn't it?
It's
in my
not
opinion,
surprising, but it's a good result for them. Great result, and it keeps them in the ascendancy for the top 4 now. They're 3 points clear of West Ham. And they're 5 points clear of us, but they do have a lot of difficult fixtures still to come. Chelsea, they got Man City coming up. They have, I believe, they have Leicester coming up, and they have Arsenal coming up. So a few tough games still to be had for Chelsea from now to the end of the season. So whether they'll get the top 4 remains to be seen. But it was a great result for them.
And us.
It was a great result for Chelsea. Was it a good result? I think we would prefer the draw, but I guess it's better Chelsea winning than West Ham, because West Ham have a lot easier fixtures from now to the end of the season. So it was important that they dropped points in this one. And it kind of, the fact that Chelsea won and the fact that we beat Southampton meant was kind of still in the hunt. But it was a great result for Chelsea to win away at West Ham, where, after drawing, was it 0-0 against Leeds, and they drew, had a few losing to West Brom, had a few poor results, and 0-0 against Brighton. That was it. So they need to get back on track.
And with the Champions League in there and the FA Cup final in there, I mean, they're going to have to juggle a lot at once, kind of thing.
And their next match is Fulham as well, and Fulham really need to get a win in this one.
This is like Fulham's last chance, isn't it?
Exactly, and it's a derby as well, so they're going to be well up for that. Fulham against Chelsea, so. I don't think all is I don't think it's going to be plain sailing for Chelsea from now to the end of the season, but I still think they're obviously favourites ahead of us at the moment.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Let's move on to Sheffield United against Brighton. Finished 1-0 to Sheffield United. I went 2-0 to Brighton. You went 1-0 to Brighton, but it finished 1-0 to Sheffield United. I mean, a win coming from nowhere for them.
Yeah, really poor from Brighton to not get a win over a Sheffield United team in free fall, and now Brighton are kind of the team to catch for all the teams in the races from the drop. They're 7 points clear of the drop at the moment, ahead of Fulham, so not in much danger. But if they do continue to lose games, especially if you're losing to teams like Sheffield United, that alarm bells might start ringing a bit. But I think Brighton should be good enough to stay up. And I think they did miss again. And there was another example of poor finishing, leading to Brighton not getting anything out of this game. But credit Sheffield United getting that win for the manager. And even though they're already relegated, at least they've still got some fight left in them.
If Brighton do go down on the off chance, I don't think they will, but let's say they do and Fulham stay up, would you still want Potter?
If Brighton go down, yeah, I would.
Really, even if they go down?
They shouldn't be going down.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they shouldn't be going down. But if they do, I still think the football he plays is like, with what he's got, is very impressive. So he would fall down in my estimations, I'm not going to lie, but I still wouldn't be against him. All
right, let's move on to Wolves against Burnley. Finished 4-0 to Burnley at the Molineux. Absolutely crazy scoreline. I went 1-0 Wolves. You went 2-0 to Burnley. And you get the point there. So that makes it 93-90. Just 3 points in it again. But what a mad scoreline.
Yeah, I knew Burnley were going to win.
Yeah.
I told you that. But look, Chris Wood hat-trick. Is Chris Wood one of those underrated strikers in the league? He's now 3 seasons in a row he's got double figures.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's his level. I don't think he can go to a team better than that, to be fair. I think bottom half is his level. So maybe he can go to an Arsenal or something like that. But I think Burnley is his level. I think he's a good player.
I think he can be a bit better than Burnley, yeah. I know what Burnley are 14th at the moment. I guess it's around his level, but I think he's a striker who is underrated. I think he does get goals fairly consistently when he's starting every week for Burnley. He's a handful as well. He's a big physical striker. And he's one who, if he was understudied to Kane, I wouldn't be that against it.
He reminds me a bit of a Glenn Murray kind of character.
No, I think he's better than Glenn Murray.
Yeah?
I think he's better. Yeah, he's more mobile. He's more physical than Glenn Murray. Glenn Murray's more of a poacher. I think Chris Wood's a bit more than that.
Fair enough.
In my opinion. So I actually quite like Chris Wood. But yeah, look, fair play to Burnley. They were the ones in 17th before the start of the day. They knew they wanted to banish any fears of relegation. That's why I felt they were going to win on Sunday, because I felt like the pressure might start to get to them. And whenever they need a result, they usually pull it out of the bag. And they absolutely battered Wolves 4-0. 4-0, a hat-trick in the first half by Chris Wood, getting it for them, and an impressive result.
Yeah,
great hat-trick as well, by the way.
I didn't see it, but we were out on the cup final event all day, so I kind of didn't know any of these scorelines till late in the night. I remember driving home with you and being like, what even happened today in the football?
I didn't even see,
But let's move on to Leeds against Manchester United, which finished 0-0. Both of us going 3-1 to Man United. But what are the chances of a 0-0 at Ellen Road?
Yeah, I couldn't believe that was the scoreline. We didn't get to see much of it. Apparently, it was a bit of a dull game. But fair play to Leeds off the back of beating Man City not so long ago, and now getting a draw against. So the last 3 games, they've beaten City, drawn against Liverpool, and drawn against Man United. So getting some points off the big boys. Yeah,
looks like they're going to finish above Arsenal this season.
They're having a strong finish as well. That's always a big thing about Leeds. People say, are they going to burn out?
Yeah.
But don't seem to be doing that this season at the moment. In 9th place, doing fairly well, so fair play to them.
Yeah, credit to them. Let's move on to the last couple of games. Villa against West Brom finished 2-2, both of us going 1-1, so we both gained a point there, 94-91. I didn't see much of this game, but 2-2.
Yeah. And that's a terrible result for West Brom. 92nd minute equaliser conceded by Kieran Davis as well. Bad mistake by the West Brom backline. I saw, and you got to say that is a damaging result for West Brom, who again needed the points if they were going to stand any chance of surviving. They're now 9 points away from 17th with 15 points to play for, so 2 wins for Brighton, and they're clear of West Brom now. So it's a very sad situation for them. Doesn't look like they're going to be in the Premier League next season, and look like they had a mini resurgence with 2 wins in a row, but I think going 3-0 down at half time to Leicester was the killer for them, and now leading 2-1 into the 92nd minute into stoppage time to concede in that way, dropping more crucial points. I think the belief is going to start ebbing away from them, so I think that might be curtains now for West Brom.
Yeah, I mean, there are 5 games left still to play, but I think it's safe to assume, unless something crazy happens, that the bottom 3 are going to go down now.
Looks like it. Definitely looks like it. None of the bottom, obviously Sheffield United are already down, but Fulham and West Brom aren't building any sort of momentum in terms of points that I can see them really giving it a good go to stay up. And also the teams above them, Brighton and Newcastle, Southampton and Burnley, none of them are in such bad form where they could be caught at the moment. So it doesn't look like anything out of the ordinary will be happening down the bottom, but you never know.
All right, and let's move on to the last game of the day, which was Leicester against Crystal Palace. Finished 2-1. We both went 2-1, so we both get 5 points there. So, yeah, look, what did you make out of that again? Kelechi Iheanacho on absolutely stunning form at the moment, isn't he?
As well, great goal we scored right late in the game to win the game for them, and good assist as well. I did watch a lot of this game, and I must say Palace definitely should have won this game. Palace should have. They had a chance at 1-0 where Riedeveld is through 1-on-1, and he has Benteke to his right, or he has a 1-on-1 with the keeper. He decided to square a weak pass to Benteke, and the defender was able to get very reminiscent of, I remember Soldado against Fiorentina, out in Florence, when he's 1-on-1 and tries to pass it to Chadley, and it was weak. So that was a situation with that one, and I think Leicester with that win, I think they're probably too far away from us now to catch them in third. Then we're now 9 points away with them with 5 games to go. They do have a hard run from now to the end of the season, so their next few games they have Southampton, then Newcastle, then the last 3 is Man United, Chelsea and Tottenham. So
I don't think it's out of the question.
It's 9 points. If they win any of their next 2, I think they have to drop points against Southampton and Newcastle, I think.
You think both?
Well, it depends on...
Because we're playing them. We're playing them last game of the season.
So if we're within 3 points in the last day...
Who's got a better goal difference?
We do, I believe.
So, look, I don't think it's...
I know they do.
Oh, they do?
By 4.
I don't think it's completely impossible. I just don't trust us. I mean, I don't think Leicester are gonna storm it from now to the end of the season. I think they will drop enough points, but I don't trust us to pick up enough points.
will they drop 9 points now to the end of the season? They might do, but it's not. I think they've put themselves in a strong position with that win yesterday. I really thought if they dropped points, then it was more likely. But the win, that late winner, I thought undeservedly they won the game, but they won the game, and looks like they're going to be playing Champions League football next season. But look, if we are still in it going to those last 3 games, if we're within they got in the Man United game on game week 36. If we're within 6 points of them at that point, then maybe it's possible. But if it's 9 points at that stage, I can't see it.
All right, so there you have it. The end of the Spurspective. The scores on the doors at this stage is a 99-96 to me. It's getting tight here. Let me know in the comment section below who you think is going to take the first ever Spurspective crown at the end of the season as we go into the last month of the season. 5 games left to play. Let me know who is going to come out on top. Hashtag Team Sim or Team Ben in the comment section below. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.